This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason. What do you have on tap for us today?
Hey, John. So, you remember last year we did a podcast about Star Trek Year 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember how that was just kind of like all right, and not bad, but not just kind of like something you'd want to like throw out and say, hey, all Trekkies, go and read this right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the guys who masterminded that, see Jack, see Jackson, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, well, like that was apparently successful enough that it gave them the juice to start another like series of Star Trek comics at IDW, and it's not going to be wasn't a follow up to their like their work in the original series era. Nope, they're starting in the next generation era, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Basically, like their work on the currently ongoing Star Trek series, along with the spin-off series Defiant, written by Christopher Cantwell, who like long time readers and listeners will know is the guy who did it's like a run of Iron Man. It's like at Marvel where Tony Stark eventually got cosmic powers and became a god, only to like completely screw things up in the end. And also um the like the series of miniseries she could fly a Dark Horse about like a mentally challenged girl. It's like who has to deal with like 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 a like find out what's going on with this like this flying one with the jetpack. It was really good, especially well, it was really quirky. The first two volumes were, but then it also like got got its act together in the final volume to like get on my best of the list for that, like for the year it was published. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically it's like Cantwell like kind of established himself as like comics reigning king of quirk. It's like in my mind after that miniseries, and like follow up stuff like his Mask miniseries at Dark Horse and his 10-issue series everything at the publisher as well. But dude has been like doing lots of solid comics work since then, and so when he would find out that he's doing like a spin-off series like at did IDW about an eclectic cast of Star Trek characters. We'll get to that in a second. So I'm invested in that. It's like I'm curious to see just like how all this is going to play out, and also um I saw like Colin Kelly or was it Jackson Langzig? I can't remember at it's like at one at WonderCon. It's like last year. It's like and I was just like really impressed by the speech he gave about his like getting in people like writing Star Trek. So I thought, okay, well, let me just go ahead and like read Year 5, and it was fine. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't the kind of thing that made me go like, oh, I gotta go and pick out this stuff now. In fact, I wouldn't be I'm not really doing this podcast if it wasn't for the fact that the first two volumes of the new Star Trek series and Defiant weren't didn't fall under the Amazon's buy two get one free sale from earlier this year. So not only were these volumes already on sale, but they were also like cheaper through this as well. And if you're wondering like, well, why are you like, doing that, Jason? Well, that's because like these are in hardcover. And it's like unless your like, name is like Neil Gaiman or Jonathan Hickman or Kieran Gillen, then I'm not gonna like like say like, hey, it's like this is like a hardcover first format. Shut up and take my money. No, it's like I think that the hardcover first format needs to be saved for stuff that's really really special. And no, I don't think that this stuff quite qualifies, but I do think it's like worth reading. Either pick it up in softcover format, later this year, or if you want to play the long game and assume that IDW is going to like publish this in like a like in a thicker collection format later, as they've done with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers when they sell the license, then yeah, it's like do that as well. But because I think that the overall storytelling is solid here, and also compared to Year 5, I think that this hits my the sweet spot of my Trek fandom better than that series did. Mainly because I grew up with the next generation stuff. It's like I grew up, watching Next Gen on a regular basis. I did tune in for D69 for a little while. I didn't. I should have kept watching it because everyone says that it's actually like really the best Trek series of that era. But I also like to find my fandom drifting towards Babylon 5. That's a whole other thing. And I also just watched Voyager regularly. It's like it's like when it premiered on UPN, and like kind of kept following it through the like through its end as well. And I'm bringing this up because both of these series are made up of a lot of characters like from all three of these Next Generation era series, and even like a couple from the original series. No points for guessing who right now, but I'll spoil that in a second. But if you're wondering, what's the whole point of this, and what kind of story are they going to tell here? Well, basically, the series, the ongoing Star Trek series, basically starts with one. It's like Gary, see, was it Gary Smith or was it Gary Miller? It's like, but he's basically Gary Mitchell. My bad. Gary Mitchell, guy who became a god, and him, like making worlds and pontificating about like how like about the infinite and all, and then getting vaporized out of existence by an unknown force. Because that's basically the thrust of this first volume called God Shock. Basically, someone is going around killing all of the deific beings in the Next Generation universe, and only one person like has the like authority and know-how in order to solve it. One Captain Benjamin Sisko. And if you're wondering, hey, wait a second, didn't Sisko go to be with the prophets at the end of Deep Space Nine? Well, yeah, but now the prophets have sent him back in order to sort this new thing out. And it starts off with him returning to Deep Space Nine, reuniting with his son Jake, and basically like being gifted with this one one word of knowledge like Hephaestus in order to like find out just what's going on, and like go like try and stop this like like potential like slaughter of dumb deific beings in the next gen universe. And well, it's like the uh the crew that he's going to it's like going to like assemble is a fun eclectic group that I really enjoy, because I mean like not only is like Cisco the captain, but we've also got like new blood in this, such as like Andorian, Lily Sato, who is like a fun perky personality to add to the crew. You got science officer Ensign Talir, like a Vulcan who is clearly more than he seems, but like the series is holding its cards close to its vest is about what his real purpose is here. And also, when when Cisco is trying to get permission from Starfleet in order to like like get go off on this like hey, I'm going to go and find out who's hunting these gods. Well, first person he has to go to is Captain Picard, and well, that they've got history together because Cisco's first wife was killed at Wharf 359 by Picard when he was Locutus of Borg. And so when Cisco comes back asking for permission, like Picard is like hesitant, but like Cisco basically says, "Hey, it's like I I'm someone who was like he was changed by an entire alien entity to become someone like more than he was, and like has a questionable contact to his humanity. I figured you would have some sort of insight as to like what that's like." And so Picard, gives him his support, but also gives him tells him like I'm going to send someone with you, someone who I trust implicitly to keep you on the straight and narrow. That person is Lieutenant Commander Data, and like I am a like normal Star Trek fan, so like God knows I love me some Data, and seeing him come back here is great. And also, just like for the gravy, we've also got Dr. Beverly Crusher coming in as the second officer and medical as well, because like like you've got like a human coming back as like, a potential someone who's been a human who's been like potentially like altered by a godlike unknowable beings. So she needs to keep an eye on his physical state as well. So that's cool. That's cool, but it doesn't. The fan service doesn't stop there. Like Running Helm is one. Lieutenant Tom Paris, because after all the stuff he pulled in Voyager, it's like he's someone who can just make their ship like sing, like like swoop and move as well. It's like what anyone can ask for. It's like, and like, what ship is it? It's the USS Theseus, which some people may remember as being like a thing from that they encountered, like had a bad encounter with V'ger back in the original, like, Star Trek film, but also but also like a something being of modular design that can be repurposed, like, and refitted, like, as the situation commands it. And who is refitting everything? Well, none other than Captain Montgomery Scott. Um, right, like, I'm still that, like, after having like survived for like 70 years in a transporter buffer, and then being fished out by Geordie LaForge in the next episode Relics. Well, he's like wanting to keep getting a piece of the action himself. So like yeah, it's a big eclectic, fan servicey um like selection of crew, but it's also good fun. It's like, and also it's like, I guess like the biggest problem you can argue against, like what I'm going to be talking about here, is that it doesn't quite add anything new here. I mean, yeah, we've got like some new characters here with Lily and Talir. It's like, and they're nice and all, but like we're not actually getting like like a lot of like new stuff here. Like we're like it's basically like kind of like the Fallout 3 of Star Trek stories. We're not actually like introducing a whole lot new. We're just playing around with all the existing toys. But the thing is, like, there are a lot of toys to play around with in Trek, especially like so much so that when you start like putting them together, like in way, like in these ways, like that's actually kind of like that actually becomes fun, because it doesn't stop there with all the people I've just introduced. Well, because it turns out that it's like that when they start investigating it's the energy signatures like involved with like the deicides, especially like when Cisco like tries to like comes to the Hephaestus Nebula, and it comes face to face with the crystalline entities, the ones that Lore like tricked into, not tricked, like he's like offered up his like colony of Omicron Theta to, like they it's like they're destroyed as well. It's like by an unknown enemy, one that they're able to track back to the Klingon homeworld. And well, hey, who do we have friends with on the Klingon homeworld? Why, none other than Ambassador Worf. And so basically, like, the plan is like, I can invest, I can like inter like find out just what connection like the Klingons have to that. But there's but things go badly, and Kalis is just Emperor Kalis, the figurehead clone of like the person who founded the Klingon Empire. Well, he's not really like like wanting to help out Starfleet, because he just thinks that they're like like they're just a bunch of honorless dicks. It's like, but when more but Worf is more than willing to help out Cisco, and they find out that turns out that the shape that they're it's like that the some of the Klingon gods, the Shapers, were it's like were forced into creating like new ships in order like to help out this mysterious being. I don't know if I got that wrong. Well, that's, I guess, it's also like another issue with this series, because it does kind of assume a certain level of familiarity with Star Trek mythos. It's like you have to kind of like know who all these people are. It's like in order to like get who is like why they're it's like why their presence is important. Like when Captain Picard says like I'm going to like assign someone who I trust implicitly to you, and then it's like, oh, it's Commander Data. It's like, I know who Data is. I think that's great, and it makes perfect sense. But if you didn't grow up watching Next Gen like I did, you may be a little lost right there. So these these Trek comics are basically for like established like Trek fans, and I guess maybe they're even for like Trek fans who've maybe like lost touch with like everything a bit and like aren't going to like question like all like the nitty gritty details like like of certain storylines. I mean, I didn't spot any issues as well, but then again, like I said, I fell out with Deep Space Nine much earlier than I should have, so I can understand why the Dominion War was such a big thing, and all the stuff they talk about in the next volume is a big deal, but I didn't actually see these episodes, so I couldn't actually say there's like any like glaring continuity issues here. But the first volume, Godshock, is a solid read because it does a good job of establishing the like this new cast and it's like and like setting up the threat of like of this like god killing entity as well. Well, actually, it's a god killing entity that we're made clear on really early on because it's like rather than just like like make this into like a long drawn out it's like mystery. Well, it's revealed that hey, it's Kalis. It's like because it turns out that this clone of the original Kalis, it's like he may have some insecurities as well. It's like this is something that's well, it's told to us rather than explain rather than shown to us in terms of like his like him being like a spiritual figurehead for the Klingon Empire, and now he just wants like make his legend known again. It's like in the present day. I think that's a good solid like story like setup like for this for this like initial storyline between the two series. But I just kind of wish that would gotten a bit more like fleshing out of Kalis's character because we're just basically told about his insecurities rather than shown him because like whenever we see him in the it's like in it it's like in the comics, he's just kind of like a frothing madman who's just like, like saying like, we're like feeling on like bow to no gods. It's like, and we're going to like, kill them in order like, reestablish our dominance, that kind of stuff. That's what he's doing. And well, it turns out that that he's recruiting a cross species like path of followers from like from humans to Romulans. It's like and Cardassians. It's like all sorts of like like people who are just like willing to like get on board with his god killing like bloodthirsty regime, including Worf's son Alexander. This is something that's like established towards the end of Godshock, and is actually like a pretty good explanation for like for the split that Worf has with Cisco like at the end of it because well Cisco initially basically says like hey we've got to stop this guy by any means and Worf was like you're gonna kill my son as well it's like and I like and Cisco's like yeah understood now get off my bridge well that's basically the dividing line they have between each other and while Godshock ends like, with them with a like with Worf like with Worf having already departed uh like the it's like got it's like Theseus's like command. Well, it's like that leads us directly into Defiant, which which now he's trying to go and track Kalis's ship and try to take him down personally, and as he escapes the Theseus's place like ship in it's like in it's like in the like in a shuttlecraft. Well, it's like he crash lands on a colony. It's like in between the like the Klingon and the Romulan neutral zone. So and well, as it would have it, turns out that this is actually like a haven for people who are trying to like reestablish like unification between the Romulans and the Vulcans because we all know that they split off way back in the day, and well he and Worf ends up running into like the one person like who was like at the forefront of this like this regime this initiative, one Ambassador Spock. Yep, Spock is back in this, and it's only the beginning of and like so not only does he offer like understand the nature of the threat at hand, but he also offers Morph help in securing the like the one ship that he would want in order to carry out this effort to take down Kalis, the Defiant. So so and but now they're working together. They need a crew, and well, it's like this is where things get funny because it's a very eclectic crew that they're establishing here because we've got Milana Torres, like from Voyagers, like against an engineer who knows her way around things. Also, Ro Laren, the former Starfleet lieutenant who defected over to the Maquis, and Worf has to break her out of prison because he needs a convincing like rogue in order to get prove to some like Orion traders who are working with Kalis's ship to to supply it with the stuff it needs in order to in order to take out like it on its god killing mission. So like if you got so basically it figures that she'll be like an unappreciative rogue, and also well it turns out that that Kalis is like god killing weapon not only like can kill gods but also absorb their power as well. So that means it also has the power of like the crystalline entities. And well, who knows the crystalline entities better than the one android who got um got them to like eat up an entire like Starfleet colony? Well, that would be Lore. So yeah, Lore is back, and to their credit, he's not initially reassembled. He's just basically a head like in like it's like in engineering because Worf realizes that like giving this guy any kind of mobility is like a bad idea. Like he's basically a terrorist. I mean, this as Worf cheerfully points out later in the volume. Hey, my last drinking buddies were the Borg. So there, so it's like he initially doesn't want to like do this, but things things happen. Like things go bad with the with their encounter with the Orion pirates. And so not only does it leave Worf with like a potentially decaying like a heart situation, but also Spock has to like reassemble Lore in order to like keep the Defiant from being blown out of the skies by their Orion pursuers. So you've got a really eclectic group of characters here, and Cantwell, to his credit, kind of plays things pretty straight here. It's like in the sense that like everyone is just kind of very emotional, very it's like open about like their issues with like how things are playing out, and also I do like his how he writes lore. It's like it's someone who is just who is like clearly like a bad person, but also just kind of realizes that it's like I need to like rein things in a bit because like everyone else is just kind of like I I just need to like make some like appearances like I'm trying to like reform myself like because otherwise everyone else is just kind of like go ahead and just like disassemble me at the first chance I get. So basically the Defiant is just like like Worf and his crew pursuing the Kalis problem from a different angle, trying to track him down directly, and it gets even more complicated when well, it's like if you're thinking like who else could they add to this series that would be like even more out there and even more like volatile to the mix of characters here. What if I told you the that Tasha Yar's daughter Stella like from like her half Romulan daughter, it's like is also part of this series as well towards the end. Well, she is, and it's like I said, it's a very volatile mix that could like like collapse upon itself in terms of ridiculousness. But I I did enjoy it. It's like and it's like and it's all like good solid setup in terms of like like feeding things towards like this initial like storyline's end for like the Day of War crossover. But before we get there, there's one more volume, and that's the Red Path, the second volume of the Star Trek ongoing. And this is probably something that that where my lack of knowledge for like how D69 played out, like comes back to bite me because basically not only does it involve Cisco coming back to D69 like for some much needed R&R after the end of the first volume, but it eventually has him heading over to Cardassia in order to track down um like the like some of the missing orbs of the prophets. So because it turns out that 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 Kalis may be using one of them like in order to power his killer array. So they've gotten go and find more of them. But turns out that Cardassians are not quite. Imagine like not too happy to see like a Starfleet captain who was responsible for the death of nearly a billion lives. It's like during the Battle of Cardassia and the Dominion War. But how do they know that like the Cardassians may still have the it's like like more of the orbs of the prophets? Well, that's because another Star Trek character joins the crew. It's like in this volume, and I've talked about how like we've gotten some weird ones before, like eclectic ones, but this one I really like, and I'm glad to see him acknowledging this existence of this series and how it may not seem like it has a place in proper Star Trek lore, but it really does, and that's because well, turns out that someone who's been keeping tabs on the like or the what happened to the orbs of the prophets, none other than Lieutenant Shax from the USS Cerritos. Yep, like everyone's favorite Bajoran berserker. It's like whose solution to almost every problem is we've got to eject the warp core. It's like and also is just like willing to solve any like problem that involves physical force. I just say punching things in the face. Yep, he's part of the crew for this next volume and for the crossover as well. In fact, he even gets his own Eisner nominated special as well. More on that later. But basically, the Red Path is basically all about Cisco being forced into a kangaroo court trial by one by the nephew of the leader of Cardassia during the Dominion War, the one who apparently urged Cardassians to rise up and fight off fight off the Dominion, and he's basically determined to find like make Cisco like answer for these things. Oh, and but hey, no problem because Garrick is also back and he's acting as Cisco's counsel. It's like in this thing, like no problem there, right? It's like everything's gonna go fine, and like rule of law is gonna win, um, like win in the end. Well, let's just say that things are end in a very Cardassian way here. Something that, and it's kind of fun to see, and also we get to see the it's like the crew of the Theseus display some creativity in terms of how they get to the like the supposed holding place of one of the missing orbs of the prophets, and how they deal with all the problems they find there, because it turns out the Red Path saw them coming, and they've got their own plans about how to deal with them as well. Oh, and also like Shax has a lot of fun just beating the crap out of like all these cultists as well. It's good. It's good fun. It's like, and also when well Defiant ended with Worf like contacting Cisco to brief him on the threat that Kalis poses, and his plans to you know it's like take the Red Path and like lead a revolution on it's like on the Klingon homeworld. Well, that's basically how things like end up here as well. Oh, but also the Red Path has an annual story as well, completely unrelated to the like to the impending crossover. That's basically a holodeck story gone wrong. That kind of story, but it also allows them to indulge in a lot more fan service, like from Trek characters of every era, basically like leading to a story that also has its roots in the like in Voyager, like specifically the emergency medical holograms. It's like desire for all holograms to be free. So it's a nice story. It's cute, And it's like, and also like I guess it gives it's decent enough that it gives me hope for like, for seeing like more like like independent Star Trek stories going forward after we're done with this crossover, because we've got a crossover to attend to here. Because with Kalis, having returned to the Klingon homeworld, he's ready to like let everything. It's like let the his cult, the Red Path, finally finally like assert dominance over the Klingon Empire. And even though there are some who definitely like stand in his way, such as Chancellor Martok, well, it's like there's going to be like a lot of bloodshed. It's like in order before this revolution is decided. And the and while the like writing credits for these like for these stories aren't specifically detailed, um Lanzing, Kelly, and Cantwell, um basically it feels like they're working in concert to tell all the all of the stories here, because the things start with the Theseus arriving in like in the airspace of the Klingon capital before things go down, but also finding out that the Defiant has crash landed on the on the planet. And so there's a lot of like re- like tense greetings between everyone, such as Cisco and Worf, like meeting for the first time after Worf departed like Theseus's bridge. Also, like Data and Lore, meeting again, like with after Data being surprised that hey, my psychopathic brother is now back after I turned hit his off switch the last time I saw him. And also like Shax, giving it's like giving Ro crap for like being joining the Maquis, and Ro just matching his sarcasm. It's like, and just giving as good as she gets there. It's like it's fun. It's like, and basically the storyline like splits off into multiple areas with Cisco and Worf heading towards Kalis's it's like Kalis's citadel in order to try and stop him personally. Um, like um, Scotty and the it's like and the rest of the crew of the Theseus trying to like hold off the like like the air fight above the thing on Capital, also being joined by Spock as well, because there's a great moment in the one shot which kicks this thing off, because Spock realizes that hey, I'm if Scotty's up there fighting them, like to try and to not go and help out like a centuries old friend would be most dishonorable. Like that was great. It's like, and but then you've also got like Talir and Lily going to like going with Ro to like take out deal with the communications blackout. It's like in the city, and Dr. Crusher going with Sella and an Orion farmer, like a farmer as like someone who like slings a lot of like drugs and stuff, who also was like the Defiance de facto medical officer to to try and like save Martok like from whatever stuff he's in right now. So you've got all these different all these characters dealing with things. Oh, and also like Lore and Data going to try and track down the Klingon scientist that has apparently made all of um Emperor Kalis's like like dreams possible. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it all like come that comes together pretty well and plays out like in a like in a fairly disciplined way. It's like, especially if this is over the course of four issues. It's like, I mean, it really could felt horribly compressed, but overall, it's like everything here feels like it plays out like at a reasonable pace. Well, except at the end, when it seems like we're seeing like everyone like put together a it's like an antidote to the a countermeasure to the God Killer array. It's like in an hour while Cisco is being burned to death by Kalis's own like proper god killer array. It kind of feels like, wait, so how is this working? Like, shouldn't you have like like had this done this before, or at least said pace things so that like it wasn't happening as the as Cisco was being burned alive, like that we saw. Oh, and also I don't know whether or not to call this like a storytelling flaw or a character flaw, but seeing Data not have the common sense to not say the quiet part um, out loud to his brother Lore, in terms of just hey, it's like you're going to be disassembled after this is done because I can't trust you. It's like that's I mean okay, yeah, I know he's an android who he's got his like emotional chips, but we're also told he's deactivated it for obvious reasons, which I'll get to in a second. But it's just like one of those things where it's like maybe don't tell the person you're working with that you're going to like take them out as soon as like this thing is done, and that being said, I do like the bit after that where Lore implores Data turn on your emotion chip so that you can hear yourself, so you can find out what your emotions are as you say this, as you tell your brother you're going to basically kill him when this is all done. And Data says, "Oh no, I understand." It's like, in fact, I've been keeping my emotion chip off for this express purpose because I am well aware of your atrocities and everything you've done to try and kill me, my friends, and also my cat. So I believe that if I kept my motion chip on, then I would probably have killed you, like because of the emotional distress you have caused. So yeah, it's like that makes sense, but yeah, it's like it's kind of like a wonky way to get there. And also, well, let's just say that Lore like ends this crossover in the wind, leading to like a potentially like longer term storyline, like for these like for both series to contend with. It's like going forward from here. But overall, it's like I did enjoy it's like Day of Blood. It's like it like I said it takes like like Emperor Kalis and like takes his like his supposed or inferred emotional insecurities. It's like it makes it makes an interesting like crossover like event, basically like showing us like one spiritual head of state using like his insecurities and his like leveraged power to just try and like make a case for like his it's like like his continued existence. It's like and dominance of the galaxy. It's like but but it also ends in a way that like showcases like everyone coming together like in a way to like to take to take him out in like in a way that like seeks the best of Star Trek, how it supposes like the best of us, even when it's like like fighting against the worst of us. So yeah, it's like it's a good crossover, and it also saves the best for last as the final issue in the Day of Blood collection is Shax's best day. Basically, we get Lower Decks miniseries writer Ryan North teaming with artist Derek Charm to basically tell the story of what happens when well basically like Shax was originally supposed to go with Talir and Sato and Ro in order to like deal with the communications blackout, but he gets separated from them. Like first, like he's beating the crap out of out of some of the cultists, but then he finds out that the Defiance sensors are down, and and it, and its deflector array is also busted as well. It's like so basically if they are able to get the Defiant back in orbit, it's going to be shredded by any like all the space junk up there from the fighting. So basically, we get to see him, go through a lot of cultists, basically fighting with the pipe, fighting with fighting with a bailiff, fighting with showing us how bailiffs can also be used as like as boomerangs, and also showing us how Klingon transporter safeties can be used as a combat weapon, and also fighting against a Klingon who made his own mech suit and his own mecha Baelith as well. It's ridiculous, but just like all the best lower deck stuff, if you think about it, it still makes very proper Trek story. It's just like one guy just fighting off like all these other like fascists like in glorious ridiculous fashion. It's great. I loved it, and the fact that North is continuing to write on lower deck stuff is great, and his little one liner supplements here is like throughout the story as well. It's like when like Shax is descending back into orbit, and like it's like his ship catches on fire, and the Klingon pursuing him catches on fire as well. He writes, other media wish they could have firefights in freefall with a Klingon on fire from atmospheric reentry. Comics, man, best art form there is, and he's not wrong. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to seeing what like North and Lordec's art miniseries artist Chris Noglio do with their next original graphic novel, Morph Any Way You Can, coming out in October. Christine will be back for that because she's very much invested in talking about like this kind of Trek stuff. But overall, it's like I am I'm leaving this more invested in like the future of Star Trek at IDW than I was before I read all these volumes. It's like they've got a good handle on on its optimism and its characters, and maybe I'm not the best person to judge its continuity, but I love seeing like all the characters that they've assembled from all points of the other franchises reach. It's great, and it's also carried on further from the next volume Defiant, which I picked up recently, and it has nothing to do with the stuff created here, but also they like tell some solid stories while maintaining the whole we're not telling actual new stuff involving characters, but we are like adding like new stuff to the Trek mythology. We're having fun playing with all the established stuff as well. So yeah, it's like I think that it if you're not hard if you don't want to buy this stuff in hardcover, don't. I mean, it's like it's all getting republished in softcover in the next coming months. And like I said, if you want to wait longer, I'm sure IDW is probably going to publish this in like nice big collected editions as well. But yeah, it's like as someone who like grew up reading like the next gen era, who grew up like experiencing next generation Star Trek as it happened, I enjoyed this stuff, and I can say that hey, I'm gonna keep following it, and you can expect to reading reviews of future volumes, like eventually, like on the blog eventually, because hey, it's like ideally finally came to their senses and realized that hey, maybe we don't need to like put this stuff in hardcover first. So yeah, good for them. Looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Cool. Seems like quite the gallery that's put together. Um, I almost think that there's too many, but that's just a thing. I think it's all right. And honestly, I haven't read this, so I don't know. But I'm like, wow, that's a lot of complicated things thrown into it. So I'm not gonna say complicated in a bad way. I'm just saying like, oh, we've got this and this and this person and that person. And remember this. I was like, yeah, that's a lot. So fascinating, So
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, like I said, I mean, like it sounds like, especially with like the Defiant crew, it sounds like a very combustible mix of characters that shouldn't work, but maybe like I'm being more generous too because I want to believe that this eclectic mix of characters like could actually like function together. So or just like hey, like, I like seeing Spock just play straight man to all these weirdos as well.
yep. Well, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
I've got well, it's like a lot of stuff arrived all at once here. So it's going to be either Friday by Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martin, or Falling in Love at the End of the World by Jason Aaron and several other talented artists. Like it's probably gonna be like one or both of these are probably going to be covered next, unless something happens. But which one's coming next? Well, I guess you'll have to be surprised and wait for yourself to see.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, bye.